everyone for coming. We know we're right in the pre-lunch spot here, which can be challenging. But today we're going to talk to you about our partnership. All of the kind of great partnerships you can think of: Batman and Robin, peanut butter and jelly, politics and mudslinging, perhaps? No, maybe not that last one. We have developed a great partnership, actually over the past 8 years that I have been working with the University of Wisconsin. This project has been the last 2 years in the making. So we're going to tell you a little bit about each of our organizations, the project itself and how it works, and then what benefits have been for Orbitz as the corporate sponsor for the University of Wisconsin and for the students. So with that, I'll let everyone do a quick intro, just names. I think actually you guys probably know. We'll skip that just in the interest of time and moving on. So we'll start out just talking a little bit about Orbitz. How many folks here knew that Orbitz was part of Expedia? Okay, about half. So this is actually what has been the case since September of last year. So this is newer for us to be part of a conglomerate of travel brands. Orbitz had kind of been its own small-ish competitor in the online travel space with brands all over the world, but we have all now become part of Expedia, and I would say, having been through the last year and a half, it's been a really positive experience. So this is just the general structure of the organization for those who might not be familiar. Orbitz and Cheap Tickets are the brands that I work most closely with, and we're part of the brand Expedia group, so we all share the same technology platform, and the same suppliers and resources, but we all do things a little bit differently. And then we have other groups. We have a hotels group, we have the Hotwire group, and then we have a group of other brands, which includes our B2B offering for corporate travel, and then our most recent acquisition is actually HomeAway, which is a vacation rental service. So just a little bit about the organization, and then now I'll just go into a little bit about Orbitz and Cheap Tickets specifically, and kind of what we bring to the Expedia family. So Orbitz really does have customers that are unique. And our customers are much more interested in tools in doing their own travel planning versus having someone plan travel for them or having a lot of, help in the process. Very self-sufficient. We have a historical focus on air, as Orbitz was actually founded in 2000 by 5 airlines, and since then had gone private and public and in lots of little different iterations of ownership, but in general has always maintained that air-centric kind of focus and base. And then we have the Orbitz Rewards program, which started about 3 years ago and rewards people based on a percentage in what we call Orbucks, which are basically a dollar currency. So a simple, easy way to think about rewards in the online travel space. So those are the things that Orbitz brought to the Expedia family. And then Cheap Tickets is a smaller brand. I don't know, how many people have ever heard of Cheap Tickets? Probably. Okay, that's actually great. In unaided studies, we see actually fairly low levels of awareness. You guys must be much more sophisticated than average travelers. So Cheap Tickets, though, the things that make it unique are, one, that it actually appeals to a slightly younger customer. So we see people earlier in family formation, college students, more diversity in the customer base, and they're also very mobile friendly. And then the other unique part of Cheap Tickets is we actually have an events tickets business. It's the only one within all of Expedia. So we sell tickets to concerts and sporting events and things like that. So we've definitely brought some unique expertise, but now we can actually benefit from the scale and scope of the Expedia Inc. family. So with that, I'll turn it over to Kristin to talk about the university.
All right, so hopefully you've heard of the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Maybe you've heard of us for our football team, and hopefully you're rooting for us versus Ohio State last weekend. That was a tough overtime loss. I'm still reeling from it. But these are pictures from our campus. We're located in Madison, Wisconsin. We're a Big Ten university. We're a huge university of 42,000 students. But our business school is in the lower right-hand corner, and that's what we're a part of today. So we're in the business school. We're a center of excellence. We're the AC Nielsen Center for Marketing Research. We're actually not a part of the Nielsen company. That's a common misperception. Just Mr. Nielsen Jr. went to school at Wisconsin, and so we were fortunate enough to get a gift from their family to create the center. And the center's goal is to support education and training the industry in marketing research and consumer insights. So our program focuses on MBA students. We take students that know they want to go into marketing research and consumer insights through a 2-year program. So they get the full MBA, finance, strategy, marketing, et cetera. But then they also get a master's level deep dive into marketing research. So they'll have a quantitative analytics class, they'll have a qualitative insights class, applied classes like new product development, and a variety of different methods and electives, all to get them more focused on how to discover insights. But then our MBA really allows us to leverage that back to how to use those insights to guide business strategy. So that, I would say, is our main focus. And the graph on the screen is really kind of our strategic approach, right? So again, I talked about the classes, both MBA and specialized, but our real point of difference, I think, is we're really connected to industry. We have a real desire to have our students learn through applied learning and learning by doing, and this topic today is a great example of that. My job, I came from a corporate marketing background, and my job is to be a bridge of what they learn in the classroom to what happens in the quote-unquote real world. And so I'm here as everything from a career advisor and educator to the students to help prepare them for their jobs in industry. So there's some pictures of us at our board meetings. Stacey's on our board, and it's just a big collaboration with industry to help prepare the future talent of the industry. And the students that we have here today are actually wearing TMRE shirts because TMRE lets them come to the conference and work the conference and then learn for free. So it's a great partnership that we're very appreciative of TMRE for. So you'll see them presenting today, but also you'll see them doing ream counts and all that stuff throughout the conference. So that's a little bit about the University of Wisconsin, and I'll turn it back over to Stacey to talk about the study. Whoops, that's right.
All right, great. So, so this is a study that I would say benefited from what I would call reverse mentoring, which is basically the idea that younger folks and folks who are in their graduate studies have a lot to teach the rest of us, and so everything about the study actually came from brainstorming sessions that I had with students in the Nielsen Center program, and really the fundamental kind of impetus behind this was understanding more about travel intent. So Orbitz can see a lot of what people do. We can see every click they make. What do they search? What are they what dates are they planning to travel? But we don't always know about those first signals of intent of where does somebody think they might go, and who's going to go with them, and where are they going to spend their time, and what's the reason for travel. So this study was to help us do that, and to establish a tracking study, because there are not a lot of tracking studies of traveler intent that are out there. So we designed this to be kind of a quasi-public study. We use it for a lot of different purposes, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. But basically, it's a 10-question Google survey, and that we do monthly. Has about 1,000 respondents, and we ask the kinds of questions that you see here, and then we also do some topical questions. We did a lot about things like gas prices, and you'll hear a little bit more from the students about that, but we try to keep it relevant to whatever the current travel issues are of the day. And there's definitely, it's been super helpful to us in thinking about things like suppliers in the industry. Some of our suppliers are here at this conference. They have some different strategies for trying to get engagement with their customers, so we want to make sure we understand how do we fit into that landscape. So this survey has helped us to do that, and we have been doing it since March of 2015. So now we've got a good 18 plus months of trend, which is very, very powerful. It allows our organization to see what happened last year versus this year, which can be really useful, especially for things like PR. So that's the basics about the study, and certainly can talk about that more offline if anybody is interested following this. But next we're going to go into what are the benefits of doing something like this. It kind of fits into the previous presentation. Justin was talking about kind of non-traditional resources. I kind of feel like this kind of fits into that bucket, where we're all benefiting from this for sure. So from the Orbitz perspective, from the center, the Nielsen Center perspective, and then the students. So we're going to go through each of those areas. So I'll start with the Orbitz perspective. So this is something that is actually a great value. And using Google surveys and using students together, we're getting very high quality research from the student contribution. The Orbitz team contributes to the content as well, and Google Surveys provides a great, cost-efficient way to do this. As I mentioned, kind of this reverse mentoring idea that students contribute and have a different kind of insight into the travel industry, than I will. And so they have contributed everything from brainstorming about the name of the study, we call it the U.S. Traveler Compass Study, to the actual content that's in the study and the analytics that go behind it as well. And we've gotten, true consumer insight. So where are people thinking about going? Sometimes we will see things in this study that we don't see on our site because we don't necessarily offer every travel product that somebody might be interested in. We've done a lot of investigation of things like Airbnb and the trend there and how many people are choosing that and how many people cross-consider Airbnb with traditional hotel lodging. So it's allowed us to kind of really dig into that. We got a lot of great insights, as I mentioned, on gas prices and how does that impact travel. And then we're actually using this for market sizing. So when we want to understand how many people, out there in the marketplace want to book package travel, so booking multiple products at the same time, this study has given us a great read on that, and also how the market size has changed. Even within the space of 18 months, we've seen some pretty dramatic changes in the size of the market and product consumption. So it's really helped us from that perspective. And then finally, we're using this for external-facing purposes. So for PR, we use this for when they will want to do a feature on summer travel or holiday travel. We've got the data to be able to share with them a year-over-year picture and a look that there really, like I said, aren't many other studies out there that are looking at this travel intent kind of angle. So something that makes it really unique and that we can also use for social media and blog features. Interestingly, things like camping, obviously very seasonal, but we can actually see what the demand is for camping throughout the year because when people say where they're going to go and what they're going to do, we see that as a recurring theme. So even something like that, we can kind of position and say, you know what, this is prime camping time. Some people like to do kind of hybrid where they stay in a hotel for part of it and camp for the rest. So we have this really interesting kind of niche that we could talk about in our blog content that's really engaging for our audience. So those are just some of the benefits that Orbitz accrues. Obviously, we're all in on this and have a great team also at Orbitz behind me that every month we review all the results with the student who's managing the program at the time. So it's just a great kind of interactive kind of program for us. So with that, I'll turn it over to Chris.
All right, thank you. So I just wanted to tell you about the student perspective in terms of what this did for me as a student, and Agnes will talk to you as well. So this was really an amazing experience that was a great supplement to the academic curriculum at UW. So many of us, myself included, who come to this program haven't done market research before. Some have, but I personally have not. And one reason I was really excited about doing an immersive and very specialized MBA program in marketing research is because we could get this type of hands-on work experience doing a real marketing research study for a major company and then presenting real insights and research to the company. So when I started working on this study, this Orbitz travel study, it was a little bit nerve-wracking at first. I had never done survey data analysis before or done these big presentations, and I found out that I would, of course, be doing the survey data analysis, developing real presentations, and presenting for the marketing and PR departments at Orbitz on a monthly basis. This was a great experience, and it was also, from a professional standpoint, a great chance to build my resume and be able to finish the program saying that I have 2 years of market research experience. And it also was a real benefit during the interview process for internships. As soon as I started discussing this project more in my internship interviews, I got things started going my way in that sense. So that in the background, that's our school, the MBA, the University of Wisconsin MBA. So as I mentioned, we do monthly presentations to marketing and PR teams at Orbitz, and but throughout the month, it's very much like being a supplier. As you've heard, this is a partnership between the Nielsen Center and Orbitz were essentially in that supplier role, and it was a great chance to see things from that perspective and really analyze trends and changes over time, both at a seasonal basis, on a month-to-month basis, and then at some point, this survey became a little bit over a year old, and once that happened, I started looking more deeply into year-over-year changes and whether there are more travelers this year than last year, but really looking deeply at all of those different areas that we discuss, including budgets, including duration, and what types of travel they plan. And as I went a little bit further in the curriculum and started learning more of the statistics and more of the analytics, I started incorporating that into the project in order to answer questions like, as you've heard Stacey mention, what is the relationship between gas prices and the kinds of travel plans that people will make. And I found something that was very interesting. That was a statistical relationship in terms of travel timing. And really, in the monthly presentations, use those kinds of ideas and those insights to develop recommendations about targeted promotional strategies, email campaigns, and it really gave us a chance as students to learn how you can really discover what consumers are doing and why they're making the decisions that they're making. So it was a great experience in terms of finding actionable insights, learning how to do the data analysis, learning how to write surveys, write quality surveys every month, and fine-tune the research. And also, finally, it was a great experience in terms of teaching a new student, because it's been passed off, the torch has been passed a few times, and it's a great chance to learn about how to teach a new person how to do this project and how to develop the research and the insights.
Thank you, Chris. So to illustrate more about what Chris was just talking about, we wanted to show a few examples of some of the student analysis that we've done. So as you can see, we're really able to do this full study, collect the data, clean it, analyze it, and then think about how to visualize it and present it. And not only are we doing this full thing, we're able to do it every month, so we're getting a lot of really great experience. We're also able to apply a lot of what we're learning in class, such as statistical analysis. The other really great thing I've found with this project is that we're able to have a lot of ownership over the direction where this research is going. As Chris mentioned, he did a lot of deeper diving into gas prices and the relationship to travel. I've only been working on the project for a little over a month, and I'm already helping with redesigning and the evolution of the survey as we look to the future and think about what further insights we want to collect as the study moves forward. So, as a student, I'm also a student who's coming from a non-market research, non-insights background, and so this is giving me great experience as a student before I enter the workforce.
Yeah, I think Agnes and Chris are great examples of students that have learned and benefited a lot from being able to work on this project with Stacey and Orbitz. So from our perspective, this is a phenomenal example of like a win-win-win partnership. So obviously the students are getting to learn by doing, which is great. We also use it for PR for our program to be able to kind of demonstrate the applied learning approach that Wisconsin has. But the money that Orbitz pays us to do these projects is directly then correlated back to scholarships for the students. So it helps them financially with their MBA studies. It helps us be able to stay on the forefront of what's going on in the industry and what's relevant. So from that standpoint, hopefully Stacey is getting a value. She mentioned that. It's helping us tremendously, because as you might guess, educational budgets are challenging, and MBA students are always worried about how to pay for their schooling. So from that standpoint, it really helps us both grow awareness for our program, help educate our students more effectively and more thoroughly, but then also the revenue generation is hugely beneficial. So from that, that's why we try to use the triangle analogy to have a good win-win-win example. And hopefully from your perspective, it might inspire you to reach out to us as well. We do this for more than just Orbitz, so we are open to more conversations that way. But big picture is this has been a great program for us, and we hope it continues for this foreseeable future. So with that, we'll open it up to any questions you guys might have.